So go all the way down and then go all the way back up. So I like to start at the top when I'm doing this. So there we go, there's that. My trusty bobbin. Keeping it tight. And like I said, I'm going to do a white one for this one. Let's see. So what you want to do is you want to pick out, a nice little clump. You don't want too much. Too much can actually be too much. It won't look natural, and too much bulk, you almost scare the fish away with it. But you want it to look like a minnow. That's what we're going for, is a minnow mimic. So we'll take a decent sized chunk, but not too much. And you'll want to measure it from the tail end of it on your hook. You want to go just a little bit past your hook. I would say probably ½ inch or so past your hook bend. So you'll measure it up, and I like to pinch my spot and twist. That way I can kind of keep all those hairs together. So give it a nice snip. And those ends you cut, get rid of those, blow those off, get them out of the way. I don't want anything getting in the way of your thread once you're getting it on there. Any extra loose hairs or whatever. So then I hold it tight, get it all the way up. I actually go a little bit past the top of the hook into the head of the jig, if I'm using a jig. You want to get tight wraps in there. The tighter the better, but you don't want, with this thread, you don't want to overdo it because you'll tear it, and that's easy to do. And I do, I don't know, 30 or so different wraps on it here. Plenty enough to get it to hold. See, there's my bobbin working for me. Once you get it all on there and you get a nice good hold on it, go back and look over it, see if you got any little hairs poking out, or showing, or a hair showing below the thread. Cover it up and make it look nice in the end. We'll cut off that tag end of that hair. You don't have to. I like to do it just to keep it nice and clean looking. Okay, so there we got, I don't know if you guys can see that. Got it tied on. Don't worry, like I said, about the tag ends here. We'll take care of those in just a minute here. Got a nice tight line on it. And the knot I like to use to secure this all in, I'm not sure what they call it. It's kind of hard to see, I think, but if you push your thread in, you'll see it wants to turn on you and wrap up. Grab that loop, put it around the jig head, tighten it up. Cinch it both ways, both directions. Do that 3 or 4 times. Make your loop. Jig head through. Tighten it up. Do one more here. Like I was saying, what this is going to do is it's going to mimic a minnow. This hair jig, actually, you can sit it still, and the movement from the water is going to make those hairs move. And it'll almost look like a minnow maybe sitting there still, but his fins are still moving, or its tail's still moving, or it makes it look more realistic than even plastics, in my opinion. So we got a nice tie on there. Clip it off. I'm going to clip it off as close as I can here. There we go. Take care of those tag ends. Now, a lot of people, when doing these, they'll clear coat them with an epoxy, or a clear fingernail polish works just fine, and that's just to keep the thread from unwinding on you. You don't have to do it, and actually with my ice jigs, I typically don't do it, because then you can't take the hair off and use the jig later on, if you choose to do that. So what I do when I actually do seal them up is what well, first off, let me find my scissors here and take care of these tag ends on the near the head. You got to be careful too not to wrap your line around your eyelet while you're doing this. And this one I actually did, but I noticed when I did it, so I did a few extra wraps around it so it wouldn't make a difference if I cut off that little tag. So we're going to go ahead and do that. But then what I do, I like to use a clear coat epoxy finish for to cover my threads and kind of seal it all together from unraveling. Those knots don't always hold, especially when you're jigging it like crazy. You know, sometimes you will. Always label your containers. You don't want a kid getting into this and thinking it's something they can drink. But what I do is I'll put, ½ inch to, an inch, and as much as you need, really. Then take another forcep. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this on the camera or not, but then just dip it in. Shake off any excess. You don't want it to pool up. That's important. It'll look really bad if you let it pool up. But then you want to keep it moving. Blow on it a little bit, but keep that sealer top coat moving. So like I said, so it doesn't pool up in the same spot and leave a big chunk or, thick part on your jig. Another good idea while you're doing this is to take a toothpick and poke those eyelets out. It'll come in handy when you're out in the water. You won't have to take out your eye buster and bust those eyes open. So I'll dunk it a couple times and just make sure that it's nice and good in there. And again, like I said, fingernail polish, clear fingernail polish works just fine. Actually, it works great. This is just so much easier. Dip it, blow on it, move it around. Some guys have a jig, or I guess I'm not sure what you call it, but a drying system. Essentially, it's a motor that turns constantly and to keep it from pooling up. But like I said, I'm a hobbyist, and this isn't something that I do to make money or anything like that, or in quantity or bulk or anything like that. It's just for my own personal use, and so I don't have any of that fancy equipment for it. But I'm going to set this one to dry. Then I'll kind of talk about what we're going to be doing coming up on Miller Time Angling. So what we like to do, we fish everything. We fish hard water, open water, rivers, lakes, ponds. In the Midwest, obviously, we're not going to get into salt water. But we fish for everything. We fish for catfish, we fish for walleye, panfish, crappie, perch, bass, fly fish. There's not much. I'm in the eastern part of South Dakota, so there's not a lot for trout fishing. There is one small pond that does hold a few, but you're not. It's stocked with so many other fish that you're not going to get a good actual natural trout fishery out of it. I guess it's a pond, really. They'll bite corn if you throw it out there. So, yeah, we'll fish from bank. We'll fish from the boat. We're gonna get a lot of video, and you guys are gonna see a lot of good stuff. We go quite a bit. We get into some big fish. It's rare that we don't catch quite a few fish each time we go out. Like I said, this time of the year is just not right for us around here. We get, it's frozen half the time, or almost frozen. And actually this weekend, me and my son went out to 4 different area lakes here in southeast South Dakota, and every one of the lakes was frozen to the point that we couldn't fish it in any way. We couldn't walk out on it. It was less than an inch thick. Enough to throw rocks in, and actually we did that. We threw rocks in for a while trying to open a hole up for us. Ended up leaving that lake, and we did find some open water. Fish weren't cooperating. There's nothing you can do about that. But So yeah, this is what we like to do, I guess, is get ready, you know, when we can't fish, um, and make sure everything's ready to go for us when we do get out there. That's really important. Have everything, you know, tip-top condition, and you don't want any flaws or anything happening to you while you're out there. It makes things a lot easier. But yeah, you guys really stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more to come. A lot of good action. You'll see my kids. You'll see a bunch of my buddies, I'm sure. My cousin Ricky will definitely be on a lot of these videos. So, yeah, check us out. Keep us in mind. Keep tuning in and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. The more the merrier. We'll get live feeds going. I mean, just starting out from here. So, yeah, let's. Can't wait to get you guys some better footage of some actual fishing and put some fish on the screen for you guys. But for now, I mean, this is all I got to work with. So next couple of weeks, sounds like the beginning of December, it should be cold enough to actually freeze some of the water, so we can at least walk out on it. But maybe we'll do a little safety video when that time comes and show you guys what we like to do to keep safe out there too. Till then, I guess, like I said, hit that subscribe button, give us some likes. The more the merrier. Tell your friends, share this, and we'll see you next time on Miller Time Angling. Thanks for tuning in, guys.